Hey guys, Lily back at StartupsHK Festival, day 5. So we're here hanging out with the lovely people from the AI and education track. And so I'm chatting with Jessica White, who's an education tech consultant with Potentially. How are you enjoying the festivities?
Yeah, it's very dynamic and lots of expressions about what is AI and how it's used within an education context, which is quite broad.
Yeah.
So loving it at the moment.
Yeah, so we grabbed you as you came off stage, right? So can you tell us a little bit about what the panel was on and what message you came here to share?
It was quite an exciting panel moderated by Upton from CNBC and a combination of experts within both the work and learning space as well as the K-12 and higher education sector. And it was mainly on the future of learning and work and how AI is transforming what we do within the workplace. And so my role as an EdTech consultant is really working with startups and how they use and develop solutions with AI in organizations themselves.
Yeah. No, I think a recurring theme that we discuss, right, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, it's not this like man versus machine conflict, right? I think some of the exciting applications are really how artificial enhances our relationship. And so I caught you talking about, teachers, right? And teachers using tools and understanding how those tools help them to intervene in a timely manner, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one of the major questions that came out from the audience that was interesting is how can special needs teachers work with artificial intelligence? Of course, artificial is a key word here, not human intelligence. So the artificial kind of recognition of the data helps to understand what the students or where students are going wrong, which opens a kind of black box for the teachers where they may not have been able to process that amount of data at the speed, like the velocity that machines can. And instead of asking the machines to then try and understand why those students are going wrong, that's the teacher's role.
Right.
So the machines themselves, they can process at the speed that we can't, with the volume, with the velocity, with the veracity, if you like.
Right.
And then the teachers themselves can look at all that in a very simple way and use their pedagogical skills to say, okay, here is a student that's going wrong, and I can see that from the data, and thank you to the machine for showing me that. But now it's my job as a pedagogical, trained in pedagogy, to say, okay, let's talk with that student either as a group or individually, and it might be something to do with their social context, it might be something to do with their emotional reasoning or empathy within the classroom. There is a number of reasons. So from a positive perspective, then AI is really supporting the teacher to have space for that higher level kind of moral grounding and moral reasoning and pedagogical development. So I think what came out of it today is that we need to perhaps in the future really kind of have AI as our helpers in a way, so that we can do the higher critical thinking.
Right. So using AI where its strength lies, which is in processing vast amounts of data, right? So it sounds like in some way you're training the AI to basically help the student raise their hand when they need help, and then the stuff that's harder for us to train machines to do, which is really understand context, social cues, etc. That's where we have like a human, a trained teacher come in. Is that about right?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, artificial intelligence obviously is not just about like processing a lot of data. It's obviously about learning that data and then coming up with a solution in a surprising way that is a way that humans wouldn't have thought of.
Right.
And that can be really intelligent ways. But it also can often come with a moral kind of questioning about it.
Fair enough.
And that's one of the ways where really humans then need to, or teachers need to like say, okay, that was a really super smart way that the artificial intelligence came to a particular solution, but is that right for our context?
Sure.
So it's that kind of moral judgment that I think is becoming more important when looking at how the intelligence is developing from the machines.
Fair enough. And so a little bit more about you then, Jessica. How did is your background in education? Do you come from the tech side of the world? How do you become involved? How did you come into your role?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a former, way back, teacher, and I founded my own education charity and did lots of reform programs for kids using technology and media. And I then worked in the startup space, developing AI tools, actually for special needs, as you probably heard in the panel. And as you can probably hear from my kind of orientation, I'm very much concerned about the way in which these moral implications are coming up more and more. So later on in the conference, I have a panel on AI and ethics that I'm facilitating, so you'll hear more of that. And at the moment, I'm working with startups. One of them is potentially for upskilling employees within the workplace, and making sure that employees get the right kinds of opportunities available to them, and that also workplace transformation can happen.
All right, super. Well, thank you so much for making time to chat with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we'll have more videos coming from the AI and Education track here at StartupsHK Day 5, as well as from the exciting Startup Impact Summit sponsored by W Hub. So stay tuned. Like us on Facebook if you're watching for Beach City Live, and also stay tuned and subscribe to the Start Me Up HK Festival YouTube.